we start off with this guy walking into his lovely house just to be greeted by his two lovely sisters, Ayane and Kotane. I'm so sorry if I butchered that name a little bit. But unfortunately, their reunion is short-lived because Ayane just screams at my man over some goddamn pudding. Like, bro, he has a part-time job. He can't afford shit like this. That's when our hero decides to take a bath. No, to relieve some stress. But unfortunately for him, his sisters come busting through the door the minute answers on why he decided to use that type of bath water. That's when our hero decides to be a sneaky bastard and tries to persuade one of his sisters to get into the bath with him. But then Ayane is like, haha, to go play that game, and decides to jump into the bath with him. But after realizing her brother is staring at her body parts, she decides to wash her hair first and let Kotane jump in instead. So after hearing him do a little bit of stretching, Ayane decides, you know what? I'll jump in as well, even though the bath can't fit 3 people, but you know what, it's fine. But after realizing that it's too cramped, she decides to jump out and bathe later, confusing her sister, her brother, and me as well. Hey yo, where the threesome at? But after she leaves, Kotane gets to spend some quality time with her brother, which leads to, hey yo, this ain't PG! So after spending quality time with his sister, our hero wants to apologize to Kotane for what he did, but unfortunately, he's in a predicament, but that doesn't bother him as he comes to terms with his fate and tries to apologize with his sister. Or at least that's what we thought, because now he's trying to get romantic while she's sleeping. So with him being the slick bastard that he is, he tries to go in with a round 2 of Kotane, but then he realizes the one behind the blue hoodie is Ayane. So instead of apologizing for mistaking her with Kotane, he decides to do the next best thing, which is, hey yo, wait. So after telling a bedtime story that even shook Kotane in her sleep, our girl Ayane decides to leave mom blood with a furious punch to send him off to hell. Or at least that's what we thought, because now my boy is bandaged up and still thinking about what he did to his sister. Luckily though, Satan in the form of Ayane is just right in front of him, so maybe he could apologize this time. After some decent small talk with her, Ayane decides to bring up the $1 million question. And that question is, why did you do those things last night? Our main character decides to become a man and tell Ayane why he did it. But unfortunately, it doesn't matter because Ayane just accepts him anyway. As they step into the house together, our MC tells her that it was an act of loneliness. Bro, you forcefully had sex with your sister. Stop the cap. Anyway, our MC gets in his bag and tells Ayane about how times ain't the same no more, and he wants to change that. Ah yes, manipulation, the truest form of pulling a bad bitch. He decides to apologize for his actions, and then we go to a deep silence. Until she gets poked by an inanimate object, but then Ayane realizes that she felt stupid for worrying about the whole situation, and then, dog, we taking 2 steps forward and 7 steps back? What the hell is happening here? So after telling a 5th grade health story that leaves him in the bedroom for some reason, Ayane decides to ask our MC a question, but unfortunately, we don't get to hear it for some reason. This leaves our MC confused about the feelings for Ayane, and unfortunately, since that day, he never saw her again. After contemplating on where the hell Ayane is, our hero then gets interrupted by Kotane. After some brief small talk, she then brings out her notebook. Oh, I know where this is going. They then begin to have a brother and sister bonding session with studying, which is totally the outcome of this episode, right? During studying, however, our MC realizes that the stuff between him and Kotane is actually pretty peaceful. I mean, like, they have a peaceful connection and nothing seems to be getting in the way. Or at least we thought that was the case, because Kotane just decides to get up all up in my man's girl. Like, god damn, Kotane, you always fucking shut up. But my MC ain't holding that, because he decides to man up and tell Kotane that, well, someone doesn't listen in future. During this exchange, though, we come to find out that Kotane actually has alcohol. Bro, you still in school. How the fuck do you have this? Then Kotane decides to turn into Nardwuar and asks all these questions like, dang, I can't even do that. Our MC then realizes Kotane is out of control and there's only one way to possibly stop this. Not this shit again. So after having a conversation about missing 2018 Fortnite, Kotane then reminds our hero about making out with Ayane. She then tells him about the school festival that they're planning to have, in which Ayane will be there, making a great plan for our MC to apologize to Ayane and see her again. Time skipping a few days and oh wow, we're at the sports festival. Unfortunately, it's a bit awkward for all 3 of them. Unfortunately, Ayane has to go prepare for her next event. This leaves our MC very disappointed. I mean, do you blame him? I mean, look at her thighs. She got thunder thighs for real. As Ayane finished cheerleading, we get a moment with her and her brother, and damn, she just turns away. Talk about a rejection for real. But as our MC is about to make his next move, Kotane asks him, where you going? And our MC replies with, to the bathroom. You already know what's gonna happen. But he didn't go alone, because he decided to bring Best Girl, aka Ayane, with him. He wanted to just talk though, so no Fortnite dances or conversations or stuff like that. But hey, yo, why are we in the women's locker room? RMC begins to ask questions like, why hasn't she been coming over? Or why hasn't she been getting left on scene? Or, you know, was it because of last time? And INA's answer to all these questions is, it was embarrassing and she didn't know how to face him. But what did she mean? She was facing him last time. However, our MC is happy that INA doesn't hate him, and he even admits that he gets lonely around the house without her. Hey, yo, why'd they get this guy W. Riz? What the hell, man? However, as they're about to kiss, the other cheerleaders make their way into the locker room. Hey, yo, W, y'all just stopped another scene. Or at least that's what I thought, because they decided to hide in the locker. So after everyone's done changing and leaves, they decide to lock the door, and so we catch up with Kotane, and she's wondering, hey, yo, where did everyone at? But then she turns to her right and boom, she finds INA and our main character right there. Looks like they made up too, so you know, the gang's all back together. So then we transition in the middle of Kotane's relay race, and she's running like a prime Usain Bolt, I'll tell you that. But then suddenly, she stumbles upon a paper. She then glances at the paper and runs straight to her brother like he had to do anything with it. She then grabs his hand and runs with him towards, I don't know, somewhere else. And I don't know if this is a good thing for her or a bad thing for everyone else, but she went over there, grabbed her brother's hand, and she still managed to get in first place, yo. Usain Bolt can never. However, some time passes and we end up in this familiar looking school classroom, and I ain't gonna lie, I'm getting some kind of nostalgia from seeing this. Our MC though tries to blow off hanging out with Kotane just to hang out with INA, and you know, someone has a favor. Before leaving though, he asks her what was on the paper that was on the ground earlier. Kotane gives him the paper, and it turns out to be a confession letter. Kotane wants to find out if our MC actually likes him or if the whole thing is just a lie, but before our MC can answer, he gets a flashback of you know who. Surprisingly though, Kotane did not want to hear the news because she thinks that they should just stay as family. Turns out it was a lie after all, because you know, they just end up kissing right after. After this though, Kotane reveals that she doesn't really mind being in second place and that she doesn't care about our MC loving somebody else. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, this might be best girl right here. Fuck INA. Kotane's might be where it's at. Meanwhile, during all this, INA, the true best girl, is just standing out there in the blazing sun. Afterwards, Kotane reveals that they have a day off due to the sports festival, in which the main character replies with a suggestion of going somewhere. Fast forwarding to the next day, we find our main character waking up from his nightly sleep just to find INA in the kitchen whipping, you know what I'm saying? Unusually though, she's wearing an apron loaned to her by her friend to, you know, please him or something. And oh, don't worry, it did work. You already know Kotane did not want to miss the group study meetup, so you know she just busted the door without asking. At least she knew that she had fried calamari in her meal, so you know, that's already a W. Fast forwarding some time later, and the gang decides to go to some indoor swimming pools. And as you can see, Kotane has some pretty good swimming attire, if I do say so myself. Yo, INA too? Okay, I see you. Anyway, the gang is just finally enjoying some quality time together, playing some volleyball, shooting some water guns, chilling on floaties, you know, the cool stuff, you feel me? Like, what else could go wrong here? Then they want to try out the big guns and go on that slide over there, and let's just say it don't go too well. Let's just say that swimwear isn't really that too, protective, because Kotane ends up losing it. That's when my goat, the King of Kings, steps in and tries to protect Kotane from other people looking at her. Meanwhile, he sets a mission for INA to go find another swimsuit for Kotane. Damn, so you know this about to be a Kotane episode. Taking Kotane with him, our MC goes to this one mysterious place, and I wonder what's gonna happen next. Luckily though, before that we get some dialogue between him and Kotane on how he just stakes out for him and INA whenever he has a chance, like the GOAT he is. Unfortunately though, because of the type of anime this is, that talk is very short-lived. Fast forwarding though, it looks like the gang made it out the swimming pools together, and now they're just walking home like the beautiful group of three they are. And now we get some dialogue from our MC reflecting on how the relationship started from just a bath. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter because they're all one big happy family. Still waiting for that threesome though.